What's up? I'm L from Acapella.
It's your boy Cutter.
Your girl Danelle Ray.
OG2 in the building. And of course, the infamous K Fred.
And together we form Voltron.
Play my motherfucking theme music.
Concrete reality.
Welcome to Concrete Reality TV, where we strive to know more and do more with what we know. It's going to be a great episode. We got another great interview. We got an entrepreneur. Dude's been in business for a long time. He's been opening up barbershops all over Atlanta. He is somebody that I admire. This dude is a philosopher at the shop. He's been carrying the tradition of barbershop history. The dude's been doing it all. Owner and founder of Tapers III Barbershop. We got Xavier Amen in the house. Just give him a hand.
Welcome to Concrete Reality, bro.
Yeah, I love that name, by the way, man. Concrete Reality.
I came up with that myself. You know what I'm saying?
Actually, I came up with it and he just took it from me.
You see what I'm talking about?
I ain't even got
to say that.
So the funny thing is I'm one of these people that I deal very strongly with the words. Mm-hmm. And the way my eyes see, like when I see concrete and I see reality, I literally deal with the words. And what I really see is concreation and real. Mm-hmm. Concreation and real. So something that's that's against creation. Concrete, right? It's hard, it's blocked. And then we know how real it gets when things are blocked, when we can't create. And this is a state of mind. So concrete reality, man, that's a beautiful name. We can go a lot of different ways with that. So, the topics and different things that we can talk about.
I appreciate it, man. I came up with it and I really thank you for it.
Brother, I like you already, Mr.
He said I like you already. Yeah, because honestly, Cool Cutter, my brother, he came up with it.
We just be messing with it.
And that's pretty much what you explained was kind of where the foundation of it came from. That was the whole point, sticking with the foundation of life and going against the grain of society. And it seems like that's what we've been doing. And we've been pissing some folks off.
Pissing some folks off, a lot of folks off. Stop that one.
We kind of knew we were going to do that anyway when we started it. I was already pissing people off, on social media when it came about. And, I started to think of a name and I was like, man, what could we call? Well, actually, my bad. I'm sorry. It started as a hashtag because I wanted my own hashtag. I wanted my own label. So I used to go back and forth with myself about what to call what I was posting, my content. And it just came to me like concrete. Then I put the reality on the end and I was like, okay, cool. That'll be it. So I started the hashtag and my brother joined in with me and then we brought Orlando in and it became Concrete Reality TV. So like you said, the name is it can go so many different places. So that's the plan, to take it there, take it so many different places. There's no cap on it, man. So all right. I say cheers to you, bro. So
yeah, I mean that's a beautiful thing. And man, I tell you, I got a concrete reality for Concrete Reality TV. And this is partly the biggest reality that we're facing right now. If we ever want to really get back to being who we are and what we're supposed to be. One of the hardest realities we're going to have to face is that we got to give up this title of being black.
Oh, wait a minute. Hey, did y'all tell him what we be talking about, y'all? Or he just coming on here saying that?
No, this is him. I'm telling you, that's why we get along.
Okay. I thought it was just us. Hey, it's about to be one of them shows, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, it looks that way.
Not a lot of us talk that way. Like us three, we talk like that all the time to each other. So when you said it, you kind of took me back. I was like, what you say? Because not a lot of people understand that, I'm not a color. I'm not a crayon in a box. But, we'll let you expand on that, man. Go ahead and expand on that.
The fact that we have so long being so comfortable with other people giving us titles and telling us who we are, we literally somewhere through our inability to remember or remerge, become members again, reunite into our own fashion, into our own mindset, we have literally lost our way in this fake blackness, this world of black and white, which I don't know any black people, and I damn sure don't know any white people. I've asked, and I asked anyone who would challenge me, what makes you black? And I would have an easier time proving to someone that I'm not black before they could prove to me that they are black. Even when you look at the historical reference of what I like to call the bronze spectrum of people, when you look at that and you look at the accomplishments and all the things that we have done, it would not even fit the definition, this negative connotation of black. It wouldn't even fit. The reality is, when you talk about the disgusting, the ugliness that has been associated with black, it would actually be opposite if we wanted to use it based on where it fits, the black and white spectrum. But the main thing for me is that there's levels to everything. And being that there's levels to everything, there's a place where we want to shed off and get rid of that blackness. There's a place where we as a bronze group of people have to unite and have a mindset where we can separate from people who want to stay black. And then there's a level where we have to deal with human beings. What is a human? Who are humans? And then who are subhuman? And then levels beyond that. So that's a whole nother conversation that I'm hoping we can grab into.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to Concrete Reality TV, where we slap you right in your goddamn face.
Right at the beginning, you be like, God damn.
And I was just gonna say that normally we about 20 minutes into the show before we get that heavy.
Stirring the damn pot up.
Yeah, before we start stirring the damn pot.
You already know, man. I mean, we wasted too many times with the cool commentary. I've even labeled it. What we're dealing with in our culture right now is white magic, right? You take those young men, the young thugs, the gunners, those guys who are sitting in prison right now, right? Who are sitting in jail, ready to be judged again by an unrightful group who's gonna, determine their fate and tell them what crimes they have committed. Well, while those young men have to take responsibility for their actions, it was the white magic that led them to thinking that that's what black was, to perform in the way that they was performing in the first place. It was very prophetic for me because I had literally been on this whole Young Thug and YSL thing for about 3-4 months before this came down, just saying, why is it that we are so in love with what I call the nigga culture? The nigga culture, which is this fake blackness, this fake coolness, this fake reality that this white magic that has been painted, this is what black is. And as long as we continue to grab that, we will forever be the foundation or the stepping stone of this society that literally leads us on the bottom, which concrete reality tells you if you have a concrete foundation, you have a concrete building, you have a concrete foundation, you're building on something solid. It can be no other way. And if they are going to stay in charge or if they're going to hold rank, the only way they can continue to hold rank is off of a strong foundation. How do you do that? Off of the most powerful, the most brilliant, the most kind-hearted people on the planet. So there's no other way. And guess what? If I was in their shoes, I wouldn't give it up either. So it's time for us to not even blame and point the finger and look the other way. It's time for us to really look in the mirror and start to separate ourselves in groups.
When does personal responsibility come in hand?
Who we are.
I ask it all the time. When does personal responsibility come in hand?
Yeah, that accountability thing. I think the hardest part, we had touched on it when I was at the barbershop last time with you, Xavier, and I stopped because I was like, oh, this is a good point in the conversation I know we're going to have when you come on to the show. But that description of or definition of we, it's a pronoun. So it's like you have to define what we is, and everybody has their own definition of what we is, which allows us to be in conflict with each other because everybody has these different ideas, these desires and wants for what they want we to be. And most of the time it ends up starting on the basis of what, as you described, white magic defined blackness to be. And then we'll stir it up and repaint it black, but it's still white magic. And we just repaint it as something else. And I'm like, bro, that's the same definition that they use to define us into this box. So why are we going to use the same definition, the same understanding that was used to oppress us to try to unite us? It ain't going to work because you cannot unite a group of people based off of a color. That's meant to diminish you, not to augment
and divide you.
And divide you. Because if you wanted to build the greatest all-star team, you're not going to grab people that's based off of a color or their jersey or the shoes that they wear. It's based off of what? Talent. Skill set. Yep. Dog, what are you bringing to the table? I don't give a damn about what your color is. Are we uniting off of something that's concrete and reality that we can build from? Otherwise, I don't want to deal with you just because you supposed to fall into the same melanin spectrum that I'm in, that they defined us to be, because that's going to weaken us. I want the best people for the job, and we come together off of a common ideal that we can use to build from. That's my opinion about it.
And you're right on point, because the bottom line, if we are the true creators that we know we are, then who started this mess in the first place? Who got us in this situation? Who got us off? It was some people that look like us.
Damn.
So you dang sure can't judge things at that point. And guess what, man? In 2022, you better have your eyes open, and I mean your mind, your body, your being up to par, where you can judge things more so about the unseen, which I call the spirit. You can judge things more by the spirit than you can with your eyes, because your eyes will lie to you all the time. You looking at this man and he look like you, but you know he don't feel like you. He don't have the same principles. He don't believe in the same things. And as a matter of fact, he'll pull a bullet in your head if he get the opportunity. So when we do things and we just judging based on a color spectrum, we're constantly losing. And it really is just an old mindset. It's part of the white magic that will not allow us to take ourselves into the future. And that's where we have to go, into the future. You know, I have marked on my calendar 2034, 2050, because I'm going to actually make it to those points. And the reality is, what we have to start to really think about today is, how are we going to get there? Are we still going to get there by dividing ourselves through this fake political space, through this fake religious space? How are we going to get to 2034? What is that going to look like for us? What is 2050 going to look like for us? We are the controllers of that. So we have to literally start to think about that and really get into that space of taking ourselves there and leaving those black people who want to be black, leaving them behind, because they're going to get dealt with anyway.
We have one group of people that don't mind describing or defining themselves as black, the color, Negro. Well, that's what it is. But then you have another group of people that want to define themselves according to a Disney World character inside of a belief system. So they'll unite under that, and then they'll build from that. Then you got another group of people that want to be formulated according to, I guess, some sort of Pan-Africanism. That's the other one. They want to have a common identity from a nationality point of view, such as the Moors, believing they're from Morocco or Mauritania, somewhere in North America, whichever one they want to pick. And then you got the other people that just want to unite according to gender or LGBTism. It's always something. So I'm like, man, you got all these weeds everywhere. So that's the conflict, because everybody holds to these truths.
Be self-evident.
Yeah, self-evident truth. They treat it as if this is what they were born from, even though it's something that they learned to accept throughout their life. They'll use it as a starting point of their life.
You know, I always want to be careful about how I speak on it in terms of condemning things. You know, we make judgments. They'll tell you not to judge, but everything we do in life is a judgment. So we should judge. But be careful to condemn. The biggest thing I have to say about that is that, you know, when you in elementary, you write on the what you call it, y'all know about this, the cornbread paper, as they call it, with the big lines. You have the big pencils because that's where you are. When you get to middle school, you start to right before middle school, you start to practice cursive writing. Used to be, you change it up. By the time you finish with that thing, you ain't even really writing no more. You kind of on the computer. So again, we're talking about levels. I went through many of those levels, and what I'm thankful for is the ability to hear truth and have discernment and keep going, realizing that life in itself is a school, and we have to continue to graduate. I'm gonna tell you, man, it broke my heart to realize I wasn't Black. It broke my heart to realize the Black power, this whole idea of having to assimilate in this way where I got to separate myself was not the answer. Like, that is something like that I had to separate myself, my mentality from, because my mentality, man, I'm all with it. I'm with all of the Pan-African, the whole this and all of it. I'm with all of it in my mind. But when it comes to truth and what it's going to take for us to get to the next level, when you want to get into the space of not just being what you think and literally allowing the space in the universe to give you what you ask for, man, you're going to find out you got to keep going. You're going to find out there's not a stopping point. And in the moment that you think that you're at a stopping point, you're in the wrong space. Because why? What stops here? What is anything stopping in the life that we know? What stops? Everything is in continuous motion. So isn't the human being itself in continuous motion? Isn't this life in continuous motion?
Constantly changing.
Constantly changing.
It won't stop. It's always changing.
Yeah. So that's the reality that we're gonna have to come to. That's the concrete reality that you may have been that 5 years ago, but who are you 5 years forward in the future?
So to piggyback off of that, I want to go and dive into who you are and how you got to this place, your mindset. Where are you from?
So man, like my story is real simple, man. Like even in my songs and in music and in my displays, man, I tell them, man, I'm just a country boy, man. Man, I was born in Mississippi, man. 1976. I'm 46 years old, man. 2-2. This is my year. 2-2. I was born February 2nd, 1976. So I'm rocking with the 2-2. 2022. You know, that's why you remember the first time you recorded me, I freaked out. Because man, I have not taken a part, man. I haven't taken a part in the whole social media, in the movement. I haven't taken a part of being on the screen, being a part, because a lot of it has been about my resistance. You know, I'm a warrior. You know, I was born with that spirit of a warrior, man. In telling my story, I have been in contact, and I had a place. I touched the spiritual world at a young age. It touched me. Let me say that. It touched me. Being in that space in Hard Time, Mississippi, coming up in the home that I came up in, just seeing life as I saw it. I just give thanks to be able to be, since a little bitty dude, man, just really process things differently, you know, just really get it from a whole another point, like being able to see other sides of it. And I think, you know, like last week I made this example. I was talking to a young man, and we was in my truck, and I asked him, I said, man, you like that car? You like that car right there? He said, yeah. He said, that's a nice car. I said, well, until you get out of the truck and you realize on the other side, the whole side is dented up. and you can't even open the passenger door on either in the front or back. The wheel is busted up. And I told him, I said, the reason I'm saying this to you, because the problem that most people have is that they don't see things from all angles. They don't see enough of what they're dealing with. For me, growing up in Mississippi, in a place where, number one, I had strong men around me. My grandfather, one of the strongest that I knew. And we was always on our time, meaning that, hey, them people over there, they doing what they do, but we do what we do. And we ain't worried about them. And I give thanks for having that around me, because I'm still in that space. I ain't caring about what they do. I'm talking about what we do and what we can do and what we're not getting done. And the fact that we're not getting it done and we're being stepped on in the way that we're being stepped on because we're allowing ourselves to be trampled over, it's really time for us to just push and go to another level. But I'm not sure if I directly answered that question. I was you know, when it comes to the life stories, you know how that goes, man. Like,
they go. I understand.
I went through the. I came in, man. I came in as Kevin. I don't even talk, but I'll give it raw. It's concrete reality. So I was born Kevin Rushing. You can find me in Mississippi. You can Google that. You know, played football. Was with a whole bunch of successful dudes who went on to the next level. Found myself being a father at 2 days before I turned 18. I was really always been my greatest gift in sincerity. I'm a sincere person over everything. I'm a sincere person that you can trust. That's probably my greatest gift. At the age of 18, man, I found Islam. Man. That's where Rashid came from, man. Rashid Ali, man, since 19 started Rashid Ali.
Wait, so you were born? So you said you were born what? So your first name was what?
Kevin.
Swedish. And then you changed it
Swedish. And you know what? You know what happened with that, man? I literally at the age of 18, I just literally asked the question, man. That's why I tell people, do you know the question is more important than the answer? The question is more important than the answer. I tell all the young people this. Some people don't have the ability to even ask the right question to ever be able to get a valid answer. But I ask those questions. I ask the questions, who am I? And I'm going to tell you this, man, mama, I told her, I said, hey, I thank y'all. I appreciate that. But I ain't feeling Swedish. I'm not from Sweden. I don't like Kevin. I don't like him. I don't like that. So that just opened me up to get to another level. Say, well, who are you? And I'm gonna tell you what happened from that, man. Just by asking that question, who am I? Man, I'll never forget, man. And I hope this brother sees this, because I hadn't talked to this brother in over 25 years. A brother by the name of Patrick Alexander came to me, and you know what he said to me? He said, out of nowhere, he said, black man, you God. I said, huh? I said, that sounds good. You know what I mean? I don't know exactly what that means, but that sounds good. So with that, I read my first book, man. My first book by Akil Muhammad, From Niggas to Gods. From Niggas to Gods. That was my first book that I read. Then, you know, being raised in a Christian background, being able to really believe in it and look at it, see the hypocrisy in it, see the people who were struggling, who were trying to live the life, who were failing. Most of them were failing. They were failing to live the life that they talked about. It wasn't sincere enough for me. No diss, but it wasn't the proper representation of what life was actually doing. people were saying one thing, but life was actually doing something else, if that makes sense. So with that, I got a hold of Islam, man. And I tell you this, Islam is great. Islam, it puts your discipline together, man, because you can't fake it. You can't fake it. You know, you gotta, you have to do what they call immerse yourself in it, and you have to do the discipline. So it was one of the things that really, really helped me get my discipline together. And I'm gonna tell you, I thought that was it. I was signing off. That was it. And I was ready with all this energy, anything I could. I'm crushing every Christian because I'm mad. I'm trying to crush every Christian. I'm trying to tell them how your God, your Jesus ain't nothing, and this, and that. And it's all about Muhammad and Allah, and I'm everywhere with it. And you know what? But I kept asking. I kept asking for that guidance, for those answers. And I tell you what, man, I took that stuff out there right there at the corner of Lenox in 1996, bro. I took that stuff right out there and I ran into some brothers, and I'm telling you, man, they broke me down and bust my head, man. 1996, 3475, bro, Lenox Road, man. I was working in this place called a bucket shop. And on my way to work, man, got off the train on my way to work, and man, should have been minding my business. But instead, I'm ready to talk. I'm ready to chop it up and tell somebody about something they don't know. And I'm telling you, man, and I talked to the wrong brothers that day. And those brothers, man, they shook my whole world. And I'm gonna tell you, man, they talk about epiphanies, right? They talk about those, and they talk about your whole life making sense. It was that day in 1996, bro, where my life, everything that I had done up until that point was trying to get me to that point, right? Where literally I was in a spin cycle. I was literally standing there, but witnessing the world. And wow, man, I spent the rest of the night praying to my Allah on the top of that building in the parking lot. Because my whole thing, everything in a moment had been shaken. You gotta realize I'm on a year strong. I've been, I didn't drop the Christianity, and I got Islam, man. And you can't tell me nothing because it's showing me evidence. Everybody see the change. You know what I'm saying? They see the change. They see what I'm doing. Hey, if a black man stop eating chicken, you already know what that means for folks, right? You know what I'm saying? They see a so-called black man stop eating chicken, then they say, hey, man, something going on.
Yeah, so it must be working.
You telling your girl you don't want to have no sex, all that, like something going on. Like
something happening.
Yeah, exactly. So something was happening. And the thing is, man, I wanted to I tell you, I wanted to stop. But I'll take this opportunity right now. I'll take this opportunity to talk about the next step. The next step was everything that I believe is still changing. Mm-hmm. Everything I believe is still changing. And I got introduced to information. Okay? Information. Okay? We use all these words, man, and I tell you, man, let's talk about it, right? Because I've been taught by one of the greatest teachers, and I'll talk about that later. I've been taught by one of the greatest teachers on the planet, who is barely recognized, who has been long forgotten and slandered and thrown away. But man, information, okay, inform. In mation to get in order, formation to formate. We talk about that, right? But if it's information, it's already in there, right? So how much is already inside of us? How much do we already know? Y'all know it. I guess all y'all probably made that 33 mark where you at least 33 years old or older, right? Right. One thing I remember about that age was there were things that you just started to know, things you just started to know better on. I'm not saying everybody makes it to that maturity point, but there's just things you start to know. The older you get, there's just things you just start to weed out, just things you start to know. This is the information, right? But the information is not the problem. The out formation is the problem. The stuff that's on the outside that we allow to come in is our problem. These are the indoctrinations. These are the lies, the theories, the philosophies that don't work in conjunction with your being, your soul, your true entity about who you are and where you're going. Because I like to call myself a scientist of simplicity, right? I want to break it down. I ask everyone, what's the difference between a man who is living and a man who is dead? Right now, if the life is sucked out of my body, you'll see the shell. It's still there. But am I here? The person that's speaking, the intellect, the power that's speaking, that's allowing me to go, the light. No, I'm not. So therefore, what we and who we truly are has nothing to do with our physical self. And that's why we here as concrete reality to kill the blackness. Because we know it doesn't really hold a place in our true lives. So when we ready to deal with truth and we ready to deal with the next level of what's going to take us to the next step, we have no choice but to give up the blackness. If we're ready, what I know that is inside and the way that we can be used and the ability to be used by the spirit of the most high source on the planet. And I simply say it just like that, most high source. You can call it whatever you want to. It's just the most high source. When you get to the highest of whatever all of this is, there's a source of it. That's what we have to invest in. That's what we have to put our energy and lay our hearts and our mind and our egos and everything at that doorway. And when we do that, life is a lot easier, right? So in that mindset, like, it's been hard for me personally to engage in the social platforms because, can a tool be used in the way that we want the tool to be used? Can it be used in that way? Can it get the job done? Because I asked that question because I've watched so many men, so many good men, in their words fall to the wayside because the other energy is so strong. The energy of wanting to stay in ignorance, wanting to stay in blindness is strong because the reality is once you know, man, you have to be responsible for what you know. And I'm telling you, many people just don't want to know. They are cool with the ignorance. They are cool with ignoring. They cool with it. And we have to know that. So therefore, this goes back to all of this beautiful book. Because by the way, I want to tell you, the Bible is a beautiful book. The Quran is a beautiful book. But that's what they are, books. That's what they are.
Ladies and gentlemen, can you repeat that again one more time? Could you repeat that one more time? I think it would just, go ahead, repeat it one more time.
I said the Bible is a beautiful book. The Quran is a beautiful book. But again, that's all that they are books.
So when did you get to this point where you were able to swallow that pill in your life?
At about 19.
Oh, at that point.
Yeah, 19, 20, man. Like, yes. Because, and let me tell you, the most beautiful part about it, the further I got away from it, the more I believed it, the more I could see its relevance. Man, you talk, man, I tell you what, man, you invite any minister, any imam, man, invite them up, man. We can talk about it and I can go through the book with them, man. But the bottom line is, man, listen here. Let's talk concrete reality, man. I'm not gonna forget where I am. I am on Concrete Reality TV, so I'm not gonna forget it. Let's talk concrete reality.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
If I ask you, brother, if I say to you, brother, if I say, Who wrote Message to the Black Man? Do you have an author? Anybody knows?
Nope.
Okay, that's fine. Well, who wrote the Message to the Black Man is the Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Okay, that's the author. That's just the point I want to make. Okay, if I ask you who moved my cheese, who wrote that book?
I know where you're going. Here it come. Go ahead. just keep going with it. I know where it's going.
Okay? If I ask you, you can give me an author. But if I ask you who wrote the Bible, you can't give me an author.
Well, I can say many men.
Yeah.
Then
that's what they say.
Tell me, then I'm gonna have to correct you, and I'm gonna have to tell you, excuse me, sir, I asked you who wrote it. When you find out, when you get to the facts, when you get to the concrete reality, it was never written. It was compiled.
Yep, many men
put together.
Yep.
The stories, the testaments, the testimony of men were gathered and put into a compilation, and therefore a Bible was created, a book of little stories. When you say Bible, you're actually using the word Bible. Don't believe me? Go check it out. It says it's little stories or a combination of stories. This is what makes it a Bible. People even hold the word Bible to be so holy. It's not a holy word.
It's not holy. It was never meant to be holy.
Never at all.
Damn the Bible. I'm literally saying damn the little book.
They added holy because holy means what?
Sacred.
Sacred.
Yeah.
And guess what? I don't have a problem with the sacred, the sacredness of it. I don't have a problem with it because I'll tell you, it can be sacred. But
so whoever
you better know what you're reading. You better know what you're getting yourself into, because listen, when y'all get through, I got one question for it that'll stump them all. And the question is, I'm going to ask this question and I'll let them do their homework. You go back and read it for yourself. Did the devil tell a lie to the woman and the man in the garden?
Oh yeah,
read it for themselves.
We were talking about that last. I think it was a week or two ago about that part.
I got one even better. Did they really exist? Prove it.
You already know. You already know because those stories and those names existed long before the Bible was put together.
Yes.
So where are the stories really coming from?
Huh.
But because that conversation has been had so much, you know what I like to say? I like to say take it, and I like to say use it, and I like to say grow from it. And the only thing I'm saying is this: if you're gonna stay in the first grade, just realize that you are slow. If you never pass first grade requirements and you can't make it to the second grade, they say you have retarded or you have failed the grade. Back in the day, they used to put on your report card, retarded, because you had to stay in that grade. It didn't mean the same thing. So if you, 50 years later, still in the same space, believing the same thing, expressing it in the same way, it's time for you to speed up. It's time for you to come up out of that. Or not. But I'll tell you this, don't be surprised when the world can't use you, when the universe can't use you. And this is where we are on the planet right now. We're in a space where you really gotta decide on where you are. How do you move the momentum? How do you get to the next level? How do you get to the future? How are you gonna get into that future space?
I know we're at a level in the conversation where it's at a nice climax, and I got to reduce it down to this basic understanding for the audience about who you are. So I'm a question you about some of your, I guess, social origins.
So how do we get to Xavier from Rashid?
Yeah.
Because Rashid, right? Rashid Rashid Ali has mainly been a community-driven person, a person that has participated in the community, in the business, in the social status, all of those different things. Xavier is the intellect. Xavier Amen is the intellect, the light of the future. The conversation is futuristic. The mindset is one of the future. Like 20 years ago, I was the craziest dude in my crew. Let everybody tell it. Those same guys now, I am the guy, because what I was saying 20 years ago, we're in the future now. And what I say now, in 20 years, it'll be in the future, because I am from the future.
Are you going to keep that name, or are you going to change it?
Man, I mean, it's changing me, man. So Xavier Amen exists now, and in the future, it's from the future. I know it'll be here to 2034 for sure.
Right now, and I talk about this on social media all the time. How we don't see, when you speak of the future, I'll start there. How we don't see the long-term effects of things that we're doing now. The behaviors, the things you see in our society. How do you view that? Do you see it the same way? Do you see it that people aren't seeing 10 or 15 years from now how the certain thought, or the thought culture and certain behaviors in society, you know, from the LGBTQ, the medications that we're taking to change or alter our appearances, everything that we are doing now, how will it affect us 15 years from now?
That's a great question, and I absolutely see it, and it is being affected. So one of the things that I talk about all the time is, you know, I'm going to lean this way because it's always just really, really easy to get a good example.
Go ahead.
So for our Christian women, right? Everything goes right now, right? It's all about the freedom. We remember a time when, you know, wearing anything other than a skirt for a lady was like, wow. Like, you know, I remember that time being in that Mississippi, that real Baptist, hardcore Christian culture, right? And then they went from that to the skirt, to the mini skirt. And before you know it, then women were in pants, and people were fighting against it because why? They couldn't see where it was going. It's not about where you are, it's about where it's going, right? Because what is time doing? What is your space and energy doing? Things are perpetuating in a forward motion, right? Really a circular motion, really a sphere as such, but it's just goes up and up and up. But it's so, yes, the rap culture 20 years ago, what the older people were fighting because they could see where it was going. What we're fighting for now is because some of us can see where it is going. But in a synthesized society where emotions are not real, they're synthetic, because you have the emergence of the social media and everyone having a voice and people spewing fake thoughts and fake feelings. Because guess what? You can curse somebody out so good with your hands and typing and all of that, and that same person you won't even say a word to. Because this is the freedoms that this thing gives you, this machine, this power. So if you're not a person who's solid, you'll use it in a negative way. So yes, to answer that question, man, that's exactly what's happening. That's what's happening with the number one thing, our women. And I'm talking about women, period. Women of all nationalities, of all color. Women are so bent on this false empowerment that they're forgetting that they already have the power. They're being tricked into thinking that their power is coming from trying to do and get in the space of men. False. You already have the power. Number one, no man comes through this planet, least he comes through you. That's number one. So you have the power of life and death in you. But because everyone is so short-sighted and no one is actually speaking the words future and talking about those points in time, we're losing, especially in the bronze spectrum, because we're so concerned with now and getting the dollar and the money now that we don't realize we got it all. Because the one thing we can say right now, we don't have no more money issues. We don't have no more so-called oppression issues. And you know that. I mean, you can just look. I mean, you go to any mall right now and see that. You can look around right now. We free as we can be. But where are we having the problem? We're not connecting. We're not connecting with what has been real and what has always been real. That is the spirit. And I don't like, I even hate to use the word because it's so torn and so tossed around that we don't even get it. I'm gonna tell you this. When I say spirit, simply just place that word with unknown. We don't deal with the unknown element. We don't deal with the unseen elements. Because guess what? The most important thing in our life on a day-to-day is O8, oxygen. Right? We can't see it. We don't know where it is. But it's the realest reality that we have.
Right.
So when it comes to life, the things that are the most important are the unseen qualities, the unseen that the naked eye is not picking up on, that you have to be grounded to be able to see and to be able to move forward and operate in this space and time. So yeah, we losing because we are failing to see where things are going. And that's this thought culture that you're talking about. Like that's, man, I'm telling you, man, when I tell you, man, I'm literally having conversation with these young ladies and I'm telling them, like, listen, you got your panties on, baby. Like you have your panties on. You're out in public with your panties on. And I'm telling you, I am, and I think it's even to the point where guys don't even appreciate it no more. Because it's at the end of the day, you know, that's your sister, that's your mother, that's your daughter. You know, for all of us, that's our daughter. And it wouldn't matter if it's somebody else's daughter, man. It's just literally time for us to straighten up. And we failed once again with the white magic, giving us this false freedom that we are who we are and we can do whatever we want to do, but none of it's even true.
One of my favorite lyrics is from D'Angelo's Devil's Pie. I don't know if you've heard that song, but he says, yeah. Who am I to justify all the evil in our eye when I myself feel the high of all that I despise? I think that movie came out in 2000, maybe 99. But when I heard that song, I kept rewinding that part. I was like, this dude is on to something, because even till today, we as men, not just black men or white men or whatever, we as men, or a man per se, struggle with that. And this is why I say on the beginning of our intro that I'm amongst those who know better, so we do better. And I say that because we all struggle to do better every day. Nobody's perfect. You know what I mean? Especially not me, none of us, but we seek to perfect our ways, our characters. And that's, to me, is what separates you and our all of us from the average person who may be stuck in their ways, who thinks, oh, okay, I know it all. So when you mention growth and knowing that time moves forward and you continue to learn as you grow, or continue to grow as you learn, either or, you feel me? From what I'm hearing from you, bro, you're growing and continuously. You don't have a cap. That's brilliant. I take my hat off to you.
Well,
Man,
I think that we have to understand that constant elevation causes expansion in our life and help us to grow. As long as we're
Right.
seeking constant elevation, we continue to grow in this life. And I think that's a beautiful thing, and I think that's what's wrong with a lot of cultures, that we're not looking for constant elevation. We're okay where we at, and we're not looking to grow anymore. I'm fine who I am. I'm fine how much money I make. I'm fine where I live. So I'm not looking for no expansion. I'm looking just to be where I'm at and sustain what I have. And I think that's the problem, and that's why the culture is not growing the way it should be.
Man, well, man, I appreciate that. I appreciate the compliment, and man, you hit it right on the head, man. When we say Xavier, man, like literally, there are certain keywords that I use, and also Bronze Brilliance, LLC, Bronze Brilliance. That's part of the Xavier Amen movement, Bronze Brilliance, and that's for all of us, because that's going to be a part of what we take on in the future. Really realizing how do we separate ourselves, and we'll retitle it, because it's a title that's coming from us. It's how we see ourselves. And a person may look at it and say, well, hey, why not the gold? Because hey, gold come before the bronze. Well, I mean, I tell you what, just do a little research on your bronze, man. Do a little research on what that means and what that signifies, man. And that'll put us right where we need to be. Because the bottom line is, man, is we can't wait. There's nothing to wait on. I don't know about how everyone else feels, but what I can tell you is this, man. I'm sure that the spirit that inhabits this body, I'm sure that this wasn't the first trip. I'm pretty sure of that. But I can tell you this. I want to make the most of this trip. And if I don't have to, I don't really want to revisit this. Not in this way. Not in this way. Not in this experience. Because man, it's like I tell people, if I wanted to, man, I could lay in the bed and just cry, man. And they'll say I got mental health problems. You know what I mean? But it's a real deal, man, when you're looking at people and you see how easy the change is, and you see how powerful we are, man. Like really and truly, man, all of our issues really could be solved in a week if we were really ready to make it happen. But they can't be, because we are literally out of our minds. Like literally, we're out of our minds. We're not in touch. The magic is so magical and majestic. The power is so powerless, and being a nigga is the way. Being a nigga is the way. It's the way. And I take something as simple as I have this conversation. And no disrespect to either one of the brothers, because the brother Future, I don't know him personally, and I don't know Russell Wilson personally, but in a barbershop conversation or in a conversation, Russell Wilson is easily called corny and lame. Well, I tell him, I can accept that as long as you can call Future corny and lame too. Because you like, look, man, one of the best riding songs there is, man. We already know Mask Off, man. You turn that thing on, man, the whistle, the beat, all that, man, that thing go hard. But at the end of the day, man, all we chanted was Molly Percocet. That's all we chanted at the end of the day, man. That don't create nothing. That don't build nothing. That don't do nothing but destroy. So at the end of the day, in a creative mind state, if I see destruction, I'll call it for what it is. It's destruction. So that's a lame stance to me. That's a corny ass stance to me. You know what I mean? In a space where we need more. If we could tolerate it, if we could stand it, I could give you that. But we really can't stand it. We really can't tolerate it at this point, because we need something else.
So X, I have a question for you. So do you think part of the white magic is chasing the American dream?
Oh, hell yeah. That is the white magic. Number one, even your thought of slavery, even believing that you are slaves. You know, you might have been a part of a group that was captive. Maybe some of us were. Maybe we might have been. But let me tell you this. I tell you what we are. What we are is Native Americans. We are the greatest of Americans. We were here. I guarantee you, when somebody pulled up, there was some brownish red people here already, regardless of who pulled up, whether it was Christopher Columbus, Mo Chi, or damn George Bush. There were already some brown people here. And who were they? People that we descended from. People who left, who we're following a legacy to. So, you know, I tell you, man, I've been there. I would love to. Yeah, it feels good to try to claim Africa. It feels good. But at the end of the day, man, Africa is a big continent, man. And a Kenyan is a Kenyan, and a Nigerian is a Nigerian. So guess what? I really don't have no place to go. But what I do know is that I was, for 3-4 generations, I can prove that we were here. And that's who we are. We are native to this. And hell no, I ain't no damn slave. I ain't never been no slave, because you can't enslave me.
When you look at, I tell that to people all the time. Bone structure says a lot about where you're from, what part of the place you're from. When you look at a Spaniard or African, the bone structure, the head style, it kind of tells a story about where they're from. Indian, the bone structure, the high cheekbones, it tells a story about where they're from. My cheekbones are high. My head ain't big like that. I mean, I got a big head, but goddamn, I don't have the hairstyle of an African. I've noticed chicks who were maybe 4 or 5 generations removed from their ancestry, but their bone structure still spelled African. Though they were born here, and their mom was born here, their father was born here, their grandparents were born here, but their bone structure, it spoke African. So when I asked her or them, hey, where are your people from? Well, my great grandmother, they were from Africa. No shit, Sherlock. You know what I'm saying? I say that shit all the time. Man. At the end of the day, we'd be surprised about heritage and our ancestry if we were to begin to do the research. Not with that ancestry bullshit either. No, we talk about that too, but
and
we talk about the real ancestry. Talk to your family members, shit.
and let's just man, we get right down to it, man. Like, look, you don't have anyone from any other group that is told or given us any positive jewels about ourselves, man. So what even would allow us to rely on even the slave story being true? Why do we hold hard to that? Why, of all the shit that we could believe, why do we believe that? Like, why do we? Because you know why? Because it's some in us that really love that struggle. We love that struggle. We want to be that shit.
We want to claim that. Want to claim something.
Yeah.
Our people
give us a justification to not do shit.
Our people was enslaved for 400 years. Do you even know if one of your people was those people?
And
how do you know your people were slaves?
Hey, and if you really believe that, shit, then your life should be different. If you really believed it, nigga, you was a slave for 400 years, and it's hard for you to live 100 years. You got some shit to do.
Yeah.
You personally can hardly live 100 years, but your people were slave for 400 years. Man, that means you got some stuff to do. You got some work to do. So are we about our work like that? We're not about our work like that. So that's what I'm saying. Let's kill it. Let's kill all of this white magic, all of this stuff that we've been taught, we've been trained on. You know, because the reality is, man, look, the sad reality is that this group, these so-called white folks, they don't know what the hell they from.
Nope.
They don't know their true history. So how the hell they gonna tell you about yours? And it's obviously they don't know their history. It's obvious. Because if they did, they would respect you more.
Well, man, look, I want to, because I could have maneuvered the conversation towards more of your.
It was just too good to do it.
But it ain't make sense. It was because it was good with this. So we're gonna have you on again, and we'll touch on more where we don't have to rush to talk about your resume, your origins as a businessman, entrepreneur, your experiences in getting these barbershops up and running. You know, that's the fun part too. So we'll get you on again. I'll schedule it with you sometime this week, and then we'll just get you back on for part 2, and we'll talk about the entrepreneurship side of your life as well.
Yeah, absolutely, man. All right. I hope I didn't bore y'all, man. And
man, no, that's why I ain't stop it. I was like, this is tight. I was like, man, this is. Let's just let this ride.
Nah, we'll love to have you as a frequent guest if you don't mind, man. Because this is you on the same plateau. I don't even like to say level. I just don't like that word.
Yeah,
man, we know, man. We know.
We all on the same wavelength.
We on the same wave. Exactly, Lando. We on the same wavelength. So we would love you to have you back. You know, and or as a frequent guest.
Xavier, we appreciate you coming on part 1 on Concrete Reality TV. Be sure to like, subscribe for more video content. And Xavier, you're going to be back on this thing, man. We appreciate you coming through, brother. It was enlightening. It was very enlightening. Appreciate it. All right, man.
We reality.
Thank you. Peace.
Peace. Concrete Reality.